Please help me welcome the chairman of Mazinga, Barry Liebert. Barry?
Good morning. How's everything going with everybody? Great. Can I get you all to stand up, please? And please bring up the lights as well. So sure, bring up the lights so I can see everybody. Room lights up. What I'd like you to do to start this journey we're going to go on this morning is to turn to the person next to you and to say hello to them as if they don't matter to you. As if you flew with them, which you probably did like I did, from Boston to Las Vegas, and you spent 5 hours next to that person and you never introduced yourself to them, and you don't want to introduce yourself to them. You don't even want to know who they are. You don't even care you're sitting next to them. So if you could please introduce yourself to the person next to that yourself with that set of rules and guidelines, I would really appreciate it. No cheating the system here. Oh, you're all so friendly this morning, I don't believe it. You're not that friendly on planes, I'll tell you that. What I'm trying to show you is, what does the me world feel like? The world in which, you can all sit down, the world in which we currently live. The world in which I grew up in and in which you grew up in. Let me prove it to you. My father was a West Pointer. My mother was in finishing school for women. My father taught me how to stand tall and act ethically. My mother taught me how to eat a square meal. But together they taught me something far more profound that we all still live by in our worlds. It was, children should be seen and not heard at the dinner table. Anybody remember those words? Ah, you all have the same parents I do. Fantastic. Proves the point. But what they didn't know was that we would carry that thesis into our work world. That ultimately we would, as leaders and managers, basically use that thesis with customers and employees. We would say, without realizing it, customers and employees shall be seen and not heard. And let me prove that to you. When you think for a second about the 3 rules that all of us know that we use in our business, let me show you they're your rules and mine. The first rule of success, I'm ex-McKinsey, ex-Hancock, ex-Accenture, was take no risks. The second rule you all know, and I know you know them in your business, is keep your heads down. The third rule, I see people nodding their heads already, and this last rule is my favorite rule, is all good deeds go fully punished. So you laugh because you know these are the rules of our success. But let me show you again another example of our me past. To show you it doesn't work, the concept of individuals working in a connected society is this great ad.
When I grow up, I want to file all day.
I want to claw my way up to middle management. Be replaced on a whim. I want to have a brown nose.
I want to be a yes man.
Yes, woman. Yes, sir. Coming, sir.
Anything for a raise, sir.
When I grow up,
I want to be underappreciated.
be paid less for doing the same job.
I want to be forced into early retirement.
Now, you know what's funny about that ad is I'm 54-year-old and white. I never thought I'd be forced into early retirement, but I'm telling you here and now today, it's coming my way a lot faster than I imagined. And believe it or not, it is for you as well. Because businesses don't see us yet as individuals. We're still living a world in which I shall be seen and not heard. in which my contributions are not being measured, nor my interactions valued, my relationships appreciated, my social interactions seen in a meaningful way. And to show you one of the greatest leaders of all time is this favorite leader. It's a picture of me. You all know him. He's fantastic. I mean, he does everything we all know. And his favorite expression is? That's correct. You're fired. We make shows about this guy. We make him into a billionaire. And he's expert at you're fired. So what I want to tell you is we're about to begin a journey. This journey is about how do we go from a society that was built on the industrial society, the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution had something very valuable it taught us all. It was how to mechanize business processes to scale. But for every action, there's a reaction. And the reaction to the industrial society was we built businesses that squeezed out transaction costs. And the corollary of squeezing out transaction costs was squeezing out conversations, squeezing out personal relationships, squeezing out individuals, just building big businesses. So I'm going to show you that we work. So what we're going to do today as a collection, as a community, as a we, is we're going to learn based on what we learned. We started this business in 2001. We're going to learn together what we experienced at Mazinga, which was, how do now we have 57 million customers, up from, I'm going to tell you, 2 in 2001. What do those 14,000 corporate communities on behalf of major brands, what are they teaching all of us? What do the 150 largest institutions learning from those experiences? And we are managing with them 1.2 billion conversations a month. Now, we're not Facebook. How many of you know Facebook? Right. But you all know Facebook. But I would argue you know these brands too. These are all we-based brands that we service. These are brands that understand the value of building social interactions, that understand, whether it be Goldman Sachs or Fox and American Idol, that the future of our business, the business that we all want to build together, is the business of social connections. So takeaways from today, and there's 3 of them. 1, what is the definition of a we company? 2, what are the benefits of we and why you should care, right? And 3, how to we size your organization, where to start. So what's the definition of we? Let's start from the beginning. What is a we company? And what does it look like? And what does it feel like? And what does it do? How is it led? What's its aspirations? So the definition of a we company is a network-based business that relies on social interactions. We did one of those at the beginning. We did the traditional one. I don't care about you, you don't care about me, I just want to sell you something. Let me prove it to you. When you walk into a store and someone says to you, "Can I help you?" what are they really asking you? Great, can I sell you something? They don't mean to ask you, how can I do to help you at all? Based on social interactions, this will begin to be thoughtful about your needs. So what is the attributes? What are the attributes of a we company? 1, they are social. All organizations are social. But these companies understand that they're social beings working with social interactions, and their greatness comes out of the social interactions of their people. 2, they're co-creative. They co-create their products and services with their people. And I don't just mean their employees or their innovation department or their product department or their market research department. I mean they co-create their product with everyone. And we're going to show you that. 3, they're open. They are literally open, authentic, transparent. They expose themselves in a natural human way, the way I am doing to you today. They tell personal stories upon which you can rely. There's a great statistic today about America's leaders. They are at an all-time low statistically. Because they are no longer authentic, you can no longer believe them, they no longer tell the truth. You have no idea where they're coming from, and you know something? They don't care as long as they sell you something. I don't buy it. And neither should you, and in fact, you don't. They are reward-centric. It's no longer about me, Donald Trump. It's about you. How do I help you and your family get ahead? How do I reward you whether you work for me or you don't work for me? How do I help anybody that wants my help? Because when I give back like American Idol, you will give back to me. Any of you have children? Do you remember those days when your children would get on a bicycle and they would go riding down the street? And my wife used to say, hold on to the bike, Barry. And my kids were saying, if you hold on to the bike, I'm going to do something to your hand. Well, the more I let go in life, believe it or not, the more rewards I got back. It's something businesses haven't figured out yet. I don't hold on to my kids. And in fact, my kids would tell you, the children who really suffer in our society are the parents who held on to them way too tight. And the last, they're evaluative. Now, you may not know what this word means, so let me give you an example. I am the greatest dad of all times. I know I am. I'm not just the greatest dad, I'm the greatest father, I'm the greatest son, I'm the greatest man. Do you know why I know it? Because I say it. Now, you guys may disagree in the audience. There's some men in the audience. But I have the right to say it because I'm right now here giving the speech. Now, however, let's change the world. If I ask my wife and my kids if I'm the greatest guy, they might say, that's an interesting theory, but it's Barry's theory. That's a cool idea, but yeah, maybe, not sure. Maybe not even this week, for that matter, this month. When businesses start asking their customers and employees, their constituents and their investors, their partners, when they start letting others evaluate themselves and not them evaluate themselves, they might find out they're not the best businesses and they might learn something from it. And we're going to show today what happens to companies when they don't listen. So I'm going to give you some examples now. What is a We Social company and how do you do it? So a company, problem, solution. You probably know this company. This company came to us. Everybody watch American Idol? Okay, a few of you. That's all that watch American Idol. Come on, hands up again, group. There we go. A few more of you. Thank you very much. American Idol came to us. They had a problem they had to solve. They only produced, let's do it in words, they only sold things 10 times a year. It was called the American Idol show. You guys all know this. You all men and women know this from your businesses. You may sell 10 things a year to the same customers. That might be good, 10 frequent transactions. I'm a customer of your companies. I only buy once a year from you. So if you could sell me 10 times a year, that would be cool. Not once a year, but 10 times a year. So they're doing 10 times a year. And they had a problem. They wanted to sell every day of the year, all year long, so they can increase their top line. Now, but they only produced 10 shows. So they said, okay, how do we build a community around all these viewers so that we interact with them 24/7, 365? And who knows what comes out of that? We build a community with our customers and we learn something because we're now in touch with them all year long. Well, here's the cool thing what happened. They did that, and that community of fans produced a show called You Think You Can Dance. Anybody watch that show? Well, that's cool. Some of you do. That means their audience knows what they want, and they could sell them some more. Another company came to us and said, we'd like to produce some new products, but we know we don't have the answers to the world. Let's co-create our products with our customers. Let's no longer think we can do it. So a little company called Hallmark. Any of you buy Hallmark cards? Hands up. Thank you very much. They'll be thrilled to hear that. But Hallmark realized you may want to create your own cards for your own occasions. That you may want to basically write the card, design the card, produce the card, distribute the card, sell the card, manufacture the card. And you could do that. So we help them build an environment in which you create the cards and you distribute the cards to your loved ones based on your messaging. How cool that is. Right now, I take Hallmark cards in most instances, and I write at the bottom, Ellen, I love you, Barry. This is, I can write whatever things I love about my wife and design that for my wife in my voice and not in their voice. Open. Eli Lilly, most people know that company, huge pharmaceutical company. As conservative as they comes to us and say, we need a new way to think about innovation. You know, our innovation department is small, 10% of our employee force. It's big, we spend billions of dollars, but we know we don't have a monopoly on the world's innovators unless they had 6 billion people employed, and they don't have 6 billion people employed. So they decide to create a company called Innocentive. Innocentive, as you can read it, is a place where creative minds find solutions to the world's biggest and hardest problems. 150,000 people are solving problems for 150 companies because they realized, Eli Lilly realized that the way to continue to grow the top line was to ultimately engage not their audience, but anybody and everybody. We're rewarding. Who besides me drinks Starbucks? Now, I would love to tell you that this next client is one of ours. It's not, but we surely are all customers of Starbucks. Starbucks had a minor problem. Schultz had a minor problem, the chairman. He was losing his way. Wall Street wasn't happy with him. He wasn't sure what it is he does anymore. I mean, he does do some really cool music. They do give you, in many cases, hotspot Wi-Fi. But in terms of growth, Starbucks began to lose its way, both on the street, both on Main Street and Wall Street. So what happened is he created MyStarbucksIdeas.com. Now, his CIO, this is only a month and a half ago, this story. Anybody go onto the site? Hands up if anybody's used this site yet? So a few of you have used this site. You should all go there, MyStarbucks.com. He opens his site up, and his CIO, Chief Information Officer, and his CTO think, wow, we're going to open up this concept of my environment, my questions, my answers, and we're going to hope we'll get 300 contributions, 300 posts by the end of a month. At the end of a month, he has 100,000 members and posts and ideas. He now needs 48 community managers. This is his first month. There are 100,000 people in his first month helping Starbucks innovate. They didn't have a community manager before that. I guarantee they didn't know how to spell community manager. Starbucks community management probably meant, let's send a local person to the local town so we can widen the roads, so we can put another Starbucks in a location that didn't already exist. That was giving back for Starbucks. You know, a new left-hand turn light signal at the local mall. That was creating community for them. And the last one is evaluative. So we wrote a book, and I mean we, and the book is available. We're in the back of the bus, row 11, upstairs in the expo hall. And we'll sign books after this is over. We wrote a book. 5,000 people wrote a book called We Are Smarter Than Me. Not Barry wrote a book, not the CEO of the conference board, John Spector. We wrote a book. And to the degree to which we wrote a book, we had to expose ourselves to you on Amazon to rate the collective we. And so we, if you go to Amazon, allows everybody to rate the products and services posted on Amazon. So when you post there, it's not too bad. Either you post there and accept the feedback of the community in an open environment, or you don't. So what's the we benefits? If you don't believe that engaging audiences, I don't just mean your customers and points, I mean everybody in your business so you can grow. To believe that the world is social and that people want to help. I've done this speech, you may not believe, since 1997. And one thing I've found around the world is that everybody really is trying to help everyone. Their intentions as humans are to be helpful no matter where I've done this, from Manila to Austria. They do. But we companies haven't accepted this yet. So let me give it from a company perspective. From a company perspective, we does generate hardened benefits. They're measurable benefits. Do not use, and I'm going to show you in a minute, soft talk when you do we talk. So what are the benefits? For companies that have communities, 54% of us say we would prefer to purchase from them. How many of you would prefer to purchase from companies that are willing and want to take your feedback? Hands up. So you're right there. There's your stat. We would prefer to work with companies that engage us as individuals, that allow us to socially interact with them and to give our feedback to them, and for them to hear what we have to say. We are twice as loyal when we are heard. I hope these statistics make a dent, because these are profound statistics. We are twice as loyal when we are heard. How many of you will pay a premium for a product when someone listens to you and gives you what you want? Hands up. It's amazing, isn't it? I say the same thing. God, companies are always arguing with me. I'm under pricing pressure, and I say them the same things. You should grow ears. Because if you grow ears, you might be able to give them what they want, and they'll pay a premium. We'll pay a 24% premium when we are listened to. So when you tell me you're under pricing pressure, you're not listening because your company can't hear. You're not community-centric. And you will purchase twice as often from that company. Twice as often, because you realize they're interested in you, not in me. So here's a roll kick. I love you all. I've been here since Monday doing this speech at so many different conferences. And as much as I love all of you, and I really love this message, that's who I love. That's my wife and my two sons. They are the people I want to be with. They're the people I care about. That's where I want to spend my time and my money. Ellen, Michael, and Adam. And it's the same for you. And the only reason we are not living up to our capabilities in societies, because as business leaders, we have not yet accepted the fact that we're living in a world that minimize transaction costs and in the process squeezed out social interactions. So when you go back to your offices and your business, you have to talk the way I try to talk now, guy talk. You need to go back to your organization. We need a social strategy. We need to be able to do this, and we need to basically drive sales, real numbers. Improve loyalty, because it's measurable. We can get this presentation from Barry Liebert that will prove this to our board. Then enhances our pricing power in the marketplace. Then increases the frequency in which we sell insurance policy, insurance premiums, insurance activities in which we support our constituencies. And not to forget, we do this because we're human and we want to go home to our wives and children, our husbands and our families, our parents and our loved ones. Or for many of us, play golf on Sundays. Now, I must tell you, first I made a mistake. Rick, I apologize. I meant to give you guys a forewarning, like you may want to close your ears and not watch this. I apologize for not foretelling you about this ad. This is obviously not Chevrolet Tahoe's ad for anybody who hasn't figured this out. The world is not their bitch. This ad came because they had no community with their customers. They were not listening. They thought that they could just keep producing cars that people didn't want. Now, how do I know that as a fact? I am going to personalize this again. The year is 1928. My grandfather is here from Hungary. He opens up a Chevrolet agency in a really, really, really remote location in the United States called Manhattan. And he hopes to God that someone will buy a car. Now, all of us bought cars. How many of you have cars? That's fantastic. All of you drive cars. Now raise your hands again. How many of you drive Chevrolets? What a terrible statement for Chevrolet. You know Chevrolet had a 50% market share. I'm not talking about GM. Chevrolet had a 50% market share in the United States. GM doesn't even have a 50% market share anymore. And GM is battling with Toyota for who will win the global war. And you know that Toyota is going to beat GM. It's either this month or next or last month. I forget which month they're about to be overtaken. Chevrolet didn't listen, and you know the bottom line is my company and my family no longer sells Chevrolets. I'm not been in this business since the 60s or 70s. But my mother, who runs my grandfather's business, does not sell Chevrolets. They would have made this family bankrupt. They almost bankrupted my mother and my father if they had their way. And they almost bankrupted their entire franchise network. Because they didn't understand the value of their community. Think how many times you go into a dealership and nobody asks you, what can I do for you? I mean, really mean, what can I do for you? Here's a simple example I try to tell Chevrolet. Buy 4, get the 5th for free. At least they would still have cars on the road. Community allows you to mitigate risks, and you're in the risk mitigation industry. And so you should be advocating community, because if people have communities, they don't only get rewards, they mitigate risks as well, and that's your business. How to wait. So we've learned together collectively from the beginning what me is. We all stood up. We've learned what the definitions of we is, a socially enabled company. We talked about some of the leaders, everybody from GE to Fox to Goldman Sachs to Marsh Mac to Mercer, all people doing this. And now we're going to talk about how we do it right here. So before we begin, I want to reconfirm what we all know. We, all of you, we, the collective we, are empowered. We all use the intranet to get information when and where we want it. We, all of us, are connected. We use cell phones and landlines and text messaging and, you name it. And we use planes still in hotel rooms. We are connected. We're here together. And like it or not, including Chevrolet, like it or not, we are talking and we are taking down companies and we are making other companies great. We are making great companies without them truly hearing from us. But imagine if companies were enabled to and wanted to hear from we, how great they would be, how great you would be, how great we could be together. So in front of you, there is a sheet of paper, or it's to the edge. I want to make sure everybody sees it. If it's not, they're at the edges. Would you please pass them down? It's a little scoring. We're going to do a little simple assessment now. We're going to make sure that everybody can take a little test. Imagine we were doing this together. Imagine we were having a conversation with the companies around us, and we wanted to have this conversation. What I want everybody to do is to take a minute here. Imagine you were sitting at home in your organization, you were back in your cities, in your towns, in your firms, and you were thinking, okay, what did I take away? What did I learn? What can I do tomorrow? I mean, you could be a broadcaster like Sam Donaldson, maybe, apply to your local affiliate, but I don't think so. I do think you can make a difference tomorrow in your business. What I want you to do is take a few minutes and I want you to score yourselves against the following dimensions. Score, social. How social is your organization? 1 is low, 5 is high. We don't care about personal interactions. We're a me company. It's all about my boss and my leader. We're 1. 5, we really are really good at this, and we really do care about the interactions of others. 2, we co-create products and services with others. No, I have the answer. I'm Steve Jobs. 5, I don't know the answer. I'm not Steve Jobs. Let's get everybody else involved. Open. We are authentic. We are honest. We engage. We're viral. We get everybody involved in the process, and we do it well. 4, we recognize the contributions of the many, of the individuals, and I don't mean just of the employee base, of whoever contributes to your success. And we're constantly thinking about how to expand that recognition reward system to the community that we serve, and remember, who serves us. And last, we let them evaluate us. Unless we want to vote Barry's the best dad here today, which I don't think you have to do, then therefore we're letting others evaluate us. You have a score. What I'd like you to do is think about the score against the 4 dimensions. And this is a new way to think about your business, which is that you think about it for a second. I think businesses are made up of only 2 things. They've gotten confused. You are not your products and services. Excuse me, you are not your products and services. That's when we built a Model T. That's when we built a Frigidaire. That's when there were no products and services and there were no competitors. Everybody has competitors today, and so it's hard to differentiate yourself. But you all have communities that you're not interacting with. So think of yourself as not just your products and services, but on a different dimension, the people you serve and the conversations that you facilitate. And so think about in a score of 1 to 9, are you a me company? Is it all about me, 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 me? My company, my products, my services. Are you an E company? Did you take my meism to the web? You know, you thought, wow, I could just be more me, and now I got a big, huge megaphone called the internet. I can do web hits. So cool. But it's still about me. It's just less expensive, but bigger me. But still me. It's me with an E. We could be a they company. We could begin to think about, like we are here today with Acord Loma, that we're at the beginning. We're the analog of we. We're at the beginning today, they. We're here today, yes, once a year. But could we continue this conversation? Could we take us as a they and move from an analog world where we're beginning and focusing on conversations to a we company? Where we realize is that this conversation needs to be sustained. It needs to be protected. It needs to be all year round. Because otherwise, all it was a date in Las Vegas. And what's the expression? What comes to Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. So for all of you people last night, what you can do with that score is to bring it to our booth 1121. We're helping you think about it. You can take it home with you. But you can begin to think about where you are on the continuum of your journey towards we. And you can begin to think, what does it take for us? What are the best practices of these 57 million people that are doing this? Now, let me show you that it's just as 57 million adults. How many of you have children? Great, thank you. How many of your children use Facebook? Hands up again. Fantastic, it's most of you. Now, what you might know is what I know. My children are 18 and 20. Whether you accept this or not, and as much as I hate to say this, Harvard, where my junior goes, does not have a phone anymore. Harvard does not have landlines in their rooms. So when my son says to me when he goes away 2 years ago, I'm going to call you every Sunday morning, I say, Mike, first, because you've been doing it to your dad and mom since, forever at 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings. I say, yeah, but my parents are up, I'm up, you will be sleeping. You will be just coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning. You will not be up at 9. 2, you have no phone. You have 3 is a cell phone, and I've never seen you use a cell phone. Other than for what? Text messaging. The 2 ways my children communicate with me, my 20 and my 18-year-old, is by text and Facebooking me, posting on his wall, on their wall, I should say. And I have a choice, just like you do. I can be a me dad. I can say, do it the West Point way, my way or the highway. That's what my dad taught me. Or I can do it the we way. I will do it my son's ways if I want to be part of their world. I have a choice. So do you. So I only text and I put on the wall because that's where they live their lives. They don't use email. I know all of you think about it, but they don't. They do it for you. They don't like email. It's antiquated. So what's the 3 S's? Strategy. You need to do like we do for all of our clients and think about we collectively. You need a we strategy. You need a social strategy. You need social strategists. And what does a social strategy look like? Let's go back to the same social footprint and see where you are with your social footprint. If you're thinking about where to start, you need to think about, okay, what part of our business are we thinking about to move to we? Are we thinking about moving in our social footprint? From market research, we want to make that more social? Do we want to make our product more social? Do we want to make our innovation more social? What do we want to make? Do we make customer support engaging and more social? What do we want to do as part of our social footprint moving forward to engage our audiences, to get the benefits that we've talked about today? 2, we need social software. I'm not talking about ERP stuff or accounting stuff, or business process management stuff or e-commerce stuff. We got all that stuff. We need social software that allows us to take advantage of the conversations that are going on. So we need social software now. We need to use the same software that all those companies are using that Mozilla works with, which is discussion forums and blogs and wikis and all the things and prediction tools and rating tools and dig it up and dig it down. You name it. We need engaging tools that allow us to engage our audiences. And it could be for any group, our project management team, our finance team, our marketing customers. We don't care. We need social services, and it's not like the people that take care of the needy of society. Social services in the business world is very clear. Social services is engagement and interactions. We need to create the structure and process by which people need to get engaged, because we have taught customers and employees what you all laughed about at the beginning of this conversation. We've taught them. Customers and employees shall be seen and not heard. If you think that at the very beginning you'll put up a community and they'll just come bustling out like Starbucks, ain't gonna happen. They're not gonna trust you. They're not gonna believe you. You need in a process of engagement, you need social technologies, social services, and social strategies to engage them if you want for the first time to be trusted by them. Because if you think you're trusted, my favorite story is Greg Goodman from Allstate. I'm doing a panel with Greg. I'm doing a leadership piece of work for the chief legal counsel around the world, 350 chief legal counsel, and I'm doing the presentation you're seeing here today. Chief legal officers say, wow, this is going to have a lot of legal issues. Absolutely. And Greg Goodman from Allstate says, but we are about, for the first time at Allstate, to do a social strategy. Why? He says, try having a conversation Saturday night at a cocktail party about insurance. And he said, find yourself alone with no one else there other than other insurance professionals. I tried to get him here, but Allstate realized that this was cool for them. This is cool that Allstate's doing it. It's fantastic that Allstate's doing it. It's the beginning of major insurance institutions. We have big things like TI Craft that's doing this with us. American Express is doing it. They're realizing this is their future, not just selling products and services. So takeaways. And there's 3 again. Just like we started in the beginning, we're going to finish the same way. The first takeaway is, what is we? We is you and me. It is us working together, being personal, being together, being collaborative, sharing who we are with each other so that we, the collective we, are greater than the individual me. It's businesses that understand that the collective wisdom using social technologies and social services are greater than their products and services wherever, unless you were Bill Ford's granddad, Ford. But we shouldn't forget, even for Ford, just not forget about GM, Ford's going to sell itself to I always call it a coffee drinking company called Renault, which is going to be owned by Nissan. The benefits we are clear. More retention, higher price points, more frequent purchases, greater loyalty. What's wrong with those things? They sound cool to me, and they should be cool to you, because that's the struggles of business. That's the core of business. That's what business is all about. And then you've taken your first journey, your first step, you've done an assessment, and you know where you are. You know that you have huge opportunities ahead, that you can benefit in ways never imagined by just starting this journey. You know whether or not Barack wins or loses, that he has done something amazing by engaging 1.7 million people, even, and I'm not talking about their political beliefs, whether McCain wins or loses or Clinton wins or loses. What's clear in this great research is he was the first person to engage us socially. He built mybarack.com. Now he may win, Clinton may win, Barack, McCain may win. That's interesting for all of us. What's more interesting is that there's a revolution in interactions in the political campaign that is changing the landscape of our world. And maybe one day all voters will be engaged, and my kids won't say, "What does my vote count for anyway, Dad?" Are we future? See if I got the right order here. I do.
Paper or plastic?
Paper's fine.
I like these. Oh, nacho cheese. Old school. Fiery habanero? Yeah, those are hot. Oh, salsa verde. Oh, blazing buffalo and ranch? Giddy up! Gonna need a cleanup on register 6.
Now, you may not remember this ad, but this ad won Super Bowl ad 2007. It was not designed by Madison Avenue. It was designed by customers for the company. You know Madison Avenue doesn't need Doritos. But the customers are fanatics. And so Doritos knew they had fanatics on their hands. Let them do the ad. And these were the types of ads that they got versus Chevrolet because they were listening to their customers. Their customers had a voice. You might think about where to start. So how do you get started? How do you start tomorrow? I think you start very simply and very small. You go back to your organizations and you look at your department and you say, how do we do the 3 things that we talked about today? How do we think about our social strategy for our marketing department, our research department, our project management department, our project managers, our technologists, whatever department you come from? How do we create a social strategy, social footprint that we can build? That is based on the same things that all those great companies that are building them with Mazinga are doing. 2, what are the social technologies that we would apply to our department, our group, our organization that would allow us to be great once again? And 3, what are the social things we have to do in terms of engagement and programming and activities that engages the audience the way Acord and Loma did for us today? They brought us together to build a community. Yes, it may be once, but if we listen to Rick Gilman, it may continue with your help. And with Ann, it will continue with your help. That's how you get started. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to finish this journey with me. I'm going to ask you to stand up. One more time, lights up in the audience. We started this journey only 40 minutes ago, 35 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago. We're done. The journey started simply. It said it's all about me. We will not talk to the people next to you. Now I want you to all take out your business cards. As many business cards as you have. Take them out of your wallets, take them out of your pocketbooks, grab your business cards. Take them out now. This is a huge opportunity for you. Get as close as you can to your next door neighbor. Pull out your cards. Pull out every card you have. I really need you to pull out as many cards as you have. Then I want you to turn to your neighbor. Come close to the person next to you, and I want you to reintroduce yourself again. And I want you to think, wow, this is the person that's going to make my future. This is my future connection. These are the people that are going to make me great. This is my future business partner. This is my future customer. This is my future relationship. These are the loved ones I've been looking for. And thank you, Rick, and thank you, Ann, for bringing us together, reminding us that we are a community. Please reintroduce yourselves. What I want to show you all is the difference in energy level, this difference when you think of yourselves as part of the Acord Loma community, when you think of yourselves as part of your future, when you start thinking of yourselves as social beings. I want you all to stand up, and I want you to give yourselves a standing ovation for an amazing journey today. Thank you all very, very much.